Welcome to the Old Baker Podcast, where we knead our passion for baking into every discussion and we sprinkle each conversation with a little bit of wisdom from the kitchen. I'm Kim Artlip. I'm just a baker who believes in the magic of flour, sugar, and making the most of everything we have. Now, today's episode is going to be about something that's kind of close to my heart, reducing food waste. Now, you might be wondering how talking about leftover bread scraps and vegetable peels fits into a baker and baked delights. Trust me, it's as relevant as yeast and dough. So let's talk about why cut back on food waste and do a little deeper dive into it. In our world where grocery store shelves are often overflowing and the variety of food seems endless, it's so easy to overlook the issue of food waste. But let's pause and consider that loaf of bread we never finished, and those vegetables we bought with good intentions, but we ended up tossing out because they just rotted in the refrigerator. These aren't just individual items going into trash. They represent a larger global concern, because when we discard food, we're not just wasting the product itself, but also the resources that went into bringing it to our table. Now think about the journey of an apple. The water that was used to grow that apple, the nutrients that were fed to that tree, the energy spent in harvesting, the fuel for transportation, the packaging materials, and the labor of countless individuals along the way. All that goes to waste when that apple ended up in our garbage can, uneaten. And the financial implications are significant as well. Households spend a considerable amount of their hard-earned money on food that is never touched. And I'm not talking a few dollars here and there. I'm talking about a substantial amount that accumulates over time, affecting families, their budgets, and the economy. Now, perhaps the most pressing reason to cut back on food waste is environmental impact. When organic matter like food waste ends up in a landfill, it decomposes anaerobically, so that's without oxygen to be scientific, and it produces methane. Now, methane is a greenhouse gas that's more potent than carbon dioxide. And all this methane is leading to a climate change at an alarming rate. And think about it, that wasted food is wasted land. We're using precious, arable land to grow food on that no one's going to eat. That leads to deforestation, that leads to the loss of biodiversity, and it disrupts natural habitats. So if we reduce our food waste, we can lessen the demand for excessive food production and preserve our natural ecosystems. And let's not forget about the social aspect. While we waste food, millions around the world face hunger every day. That food we throw away could feed those in need if we managed it better and we redistribute it in a more efficient manner. So, by cutting back on food waste, we're not only saving money, we're contributing to a more sustainable and equitable world, and it's about being responsible stewards of our resources and caring for our planet and its inhabitants. Each meal saved from the trash is a step toward a healthier, more mindful society. And you're like, okay, whatever, Kim. So let me just say, as someone who spends a lot of time in the kitchen, I've picked up a couple strategies for maximizing your pantry and stretching your groceries. And trying to make sure that nothing's going to waste. So plan your meals. That's the cornerstone. Plan your meals. You get a shopping list tailored to your needs. You're not doing the impulse buys. You're not bringing home stuff that looks good as it's on sale that's not on your list. Plan around the ingredients you have. Think about the one ingredient you can use across multiple meals. For example, that rotisserie chicken from Sam's Club is dinner one night and chicken salad the next day. And you got to learn to understand these date labels. A lot of people misinterpret date labels, and that leads to unnecessary waste. Best before indicates when it's at its peak. That doesn't mean it's unsafe after the best by date. The use by date is more critical, and that's this one that kind of relates to safety. So trust your senses. If it smells fine, it looks good, it's pretty often okay to eat. Store your food correctly. Bread lasts longer when you keep it out of the fridge because cold temperatures will dry your bread out. Store your grains and cereals in airtight containers to keep them fresh, and learn which fruits and vegetables need to be refrigerated and which don't. because some emit gases that will cause others to spoil faster. And get creative with those leftovers. See what you can do with those leftovers. Stale bread can become croutons, French toast. It can be made into breadcrumbs. Soft fruits that aren't bad yet, but just not as firm as you like, are great for baking and smoothies. And wilting herbs can be chopped up and frozen in oil to cook later. If you have a surplus of vegetables or fruits, pickle them, preserve them, make jams, make jellies, make chutneys, make pickles. Freeze them and share. If you have more than you can consume, sharing is a wonderful way to ensure it doesn't go to waste. Neighbors, friends, family, food banks appreciate you sharing. And that's how we can help reduce waste, and we can help those in need. So for every small effort to reduce food waste, every small little grain of flour matters in a loaf of bread. It's the same concept. Every little step takes you there. So by being mindful and creative, we can make substantial changes in our homes and in the world. So let's promise to honor the work of those hardworking farmers and producers of our produce by wasting less, saving more. So until next time, keep your oven warm, your heart warmer. And if you have any recipes or tips to reduce food waste, love to hear them. Drop me a message, kim@thisoldbaker.com. And remember, we're all part of this beautiful baking community, so let's make a positive impact, one crumb at a time. Signing off, bake a difference, folks.